Mesechta Shavous, Daf Mem Aleph Amud Aleph. We're starting around 10 lines in the bottom. Mana Libi Yotcha. We learned in the Mishnah, Mana Libi Yotcha. If one Teveya says to a Nitva, I have $100 of mine in your hand, and the Nitva says, Ein Chabi Yodi, you have nothing, I have nothing of yours in my hand. Pati is Pati. Rav Nachman said, even though he was a Keifa Hakel, Mashbi no Shavous says, we still make him swear Shvua Midarabona, even though he's a Keifa Hakel. My time, what's the reason? Because Chazak in Adam Teveya Elam Ken Yesh Lo Yalav. Even though a Keifa Hakel, he would not be a Keifa Hakel, right? Ain't on the Meis Panav. So if it was Keifa Hakel, he must be saying the truth. You say, yeah, but the person, the one who's Teveya, we say he wouldn't come with a tefillah and stam in the Valterai. So therefore we make, so it's only a shvim in the Rabbana. The nitva. The one that the Teveya is, Reuben is one from Shimon. The one that said Keifa Hakel has to swear. Yeah. If I can't trust more the nitva because Chazak ain't not amazing part of the he's probably saying the truth. He doesn't have the chutzpah to deny the whole thing. Says it could be now he's denying it, but he doesn't mean to steal. He got a loan, and sometimes he doesn't have the money right away, so he's stalling for time, and he plans to pay later. So now he knows the guy won't take that for an answer. He wants his money now. So the easy way out is to say, I don't owe you nothing. And it's Mutu, the Kamishtamin claim. Really, he's not lying. He's lying, but he wants to pay back. I made this that's right. He means to pay back. He's stalling for time. Till I get the money together, I'll pay him back. That we say that a Kev Balba, somebody who denies it the whole loan, his kavanah is to pay back. Where do we see that? The that said the name of Chizda. Somebody who denies it alone, Kashleidus. If he's a Ganev, how can he be Kashleidus? Huh? He's denying, but he's not considered as a Gazlan because he's just stalling for time, so he's Kashleidus. Says your money's Kashleidus, but if somebody denies in the Pikadin, so he can't. That's Ganev. Postulatus, because a guy who's holding on to a Pikadin had no right to use it. So if he's denying that he doesn't have the Pikadin, he's a Ganev, and therefore he's postulatus. But from here you have a Raya, somebody's capable of Milva, he's not considered as a Ganev. Because he's only by the Pikadin, because the Pikadin had no right to use it. A Milva alone is Lahitzanit, is made to be used. So you might Chaviva Masnei Asefa. Rav Chaviva learns it on the Sefer of the Mishnah. It says, if the Teveya said, I have $100 of mine in your hands. Hey, yes, I owe you the money. The next day he comes, the Teveya said, no, give me the money. So, I gave it to you already. Potter, he's Potter. Even though he says it could be paid, and that's short zman, but Rav Nachman said we still make him swear Shvua D'Rabbanan because he was made he owes the money. In this short time, it's hard to believe that he paid it back. So the one that learns that we make him swear Shvua Hasis even on the ratio where he says Keifa Hakel, he was never made anything, and nevertheless we make him swear Shvua Hasis. Kol Shekin Sefer, how much more so on the case for the Sefer, for sure he's going to have to say Shvua Hasis because there is reason to think that he taka owes the money because he was Maida. And the one that learns the Shvus Hasis is going on the Sefer Dika case where he admitted he owes the money, but the next day he asks for the money, he says, I paid you back. So there, I'll say, there's a basis to be chesed. Such a short window of time. You were made that you owe the money, you say you paid it back right away. Swear.
He has to swear over there.
There it makes sense to swear, but I'm not going to say in the first case. But in the first case where he denied everything, he never was made that. Yeah, I would say no. He's not going to be chayv. Shvus Hasis. Shvus Hasis is a D'Rabbanan the Kishvua. What is the chilik in the severity of Shua that I
Shvur is a shvur. It's one way which is numbered.
Shus Hess is the Rabbanon. Hess is to persuade him to say the truth. It's a takana. So what's the difference between a Shua that I Shua that I So he says, the chiluk is mefech shvua. That by a Shua that I loy mapchin shvua. Let's say somebody the nitva is mechuyev to swear Shua that I the nitva cannot say, I don't want to swear, let the teveya swear. It doesn't work. Shvur that I say, if it's on the nitva, the one, the kefahaka, let's say, he has to swear. By kefahaka, he doesn't say that's only a shvur that. But I'm saying, on a case, the nitva would have to swear shvur that I say. Okay? We don't turn it from the nitva to the teveya. The rabbanon mapchinan. The rabbanon, if it's a rabbanon the keshua, the nitva could say, hey, what you said I made up shvur. I'll plead, then I don't have to swear. I don't want to swear. Let the teveya swear and collect it. That I owe money, and let him collect that way. He can do that. In the rabbon, shvur is a shverazah. Oh, but shvur was the rabbanon man gelegt. Oh, can I train that from the zweite? Yeah. According to Ma Baravashi, who says that even by the rice of the Keshua, that he could turn it from the nitva could say the tevei should swear. So what's the chiluk between the rice and Rabbanon? So the chiluk is meiches l'nechsei. If the nitva won't swear, then the tevei has the right to go into his nechasim and freeze it and confiscate it. The rice, the rice, they go into his karka if he doesn't swear, and they take all the money. But the Rabbanon, loy nachsina l'nirsei. But the Rabbanon, but if it's a shvur the Rabbanon, we don't go and collect for his nechasim. Sagt die Rabbi Yossi, the Rabbanon namen nachsina l'nirsei. But according to Rabbi Yossi says, if he doesn't swear, shvur the Rabbanon, we go and take away the nechasim from him. Says Yemana, the Tanam, where did we see that? By Metzias Chereshet V'Katan. By a Metzia of a Chereshet V'Katan. Yesh B'Hem Gezel M'Pnei Dak Shalom. You're not allowed to take away from, even though a Chereshet V'Katan, that he finds something, it's really not his. You could take it away from him. You're not taking it. It's Nishkim Badas. So it's Hefke. It has a din like Hefke. But there's a Iser of Gizela M'Pnei Dak Shalom. Because you're going to make a ganze machlekes, he's going to stop fighting with you.
Fight with him, right?
Yeah. Rabbi Yossi, Gezel Gomor. Rabbi Yossi said it's not Stam Dake Shol. It's Gezel Gomor, but with the Rabbanon. But Rav Chizda explained, Gezel Gomor with the Vreya, what does that mean? L'may nafkamina. What's the chilek? Gezel Gomor. Since you say that with the Rabbanon, finish. Gomor, nish Gomor. Yeah, it's going to cause.
If you call it Gomor or not.
Yeah, it's going to say that if you call it Gomor or not, Gomor is the chilek. L'may nafkamina. After Gemara, that Chizda said Gezel Gomor, loitzi b'dayonim, that he should be able to take away his nechasim if he doesn't swear, then he can take it out. Or if he took something away from the Chereshet V'Katan, then we can go and take away the nechasim back. In fact, you want to buy ikabein the rice rabbanon. So if we can go into the nechasim, all the same chumras are by the rabbanon, just like the araisa. Ikabenai says, if it was a case where the nitva is a choshu, is a liar. We can't trust him with a shvur. So the araisa, they made a takana. The nitva cannot swear, he's a choshed. Besson says, well, we won't trust him. He'll swear on a lie anyway. He'll swear by his mother, his father. He doesn't care. But, so therefore, we won't let him swear, but we'll make the teveya swear and he'll collect.
They know it's true story.
Yeah, right. So then we switch it to the teveya. But the Rabbanon, the whole shvur that they made is only a takanta. He is a takana, and the takana of connected was a choshud. By a choshud, Abamena connected swears is also a takana. The takanta, and then we're not going to allow us to switch it to the teveya. So the Rabbanon the pliga Rabbi Yossi. According to Rabbanon that argue on Rabbi Yossi. The Rabbanon said we won't take it away from the guy who took away from the Chedesh straight to the cotton. The Rabbanan say we won't take it away. But you want my So what if we're not going to take it away? What are we going to do to that guy? He's not swearing. He's not giving back. It's not gonna. He's getting away with murder. So you want to know? We're not going to let him get away with it. We're going to put him in excommunication. Nobody's allowed to be around him.
He's like a chayim.
In chayim, we're going to put him exactly what it is. Chayim. Ravina said to Ravashi, this is worse. He says it's not Yud Nechasim. Rashi says it's like kvetched him by the beitzim to give it, and he's not letting go until he gives him everything he's got to give. So that's even worse than going just as Nechasim. This is as a kvetch because you're putting him in a chayim.
And nobody has to do with him.
Yeah. Elamai Avdin says, what do we do? He says, no, we don't put him in chayim forever. We for 30 days. 30 days. If in the 30 days he doesn't come back to pay back, nagdil v'nagdin alei, megittem malchus v'shavkin alei, and then we take him out of chayim. They let him out. How about that free adaf makas madis? Makas madis is like 39 malchus. It's with the Rabbanan. That's it. It's yeah. Maybe there's other dinner, but I didn't see yet.
After the Malchus, he'll be a Mamina already. After the Malchus, he'll be a Mamina.
Oh no! After Malchus, he says, Malchus. You know, there was a story.
So you deserve it to have it. Right?
I'm not going to say his name. I wouldn't say. So we were in the library. Rabbi Shvei wanted to hit a bacha because a bacha was chutzpahdik, and he says, "Oda patch, oda $5." So he said a patch. When he wanted to give him a patch, he ducked, and Rabbi Shvei hit his hand on the crates. This guy, So he waited for him to get up and give him a patch. You have to give $5, he says. We both. Over Papa.
He has to go to the doctor.
Yeah. Papa said, "Hi, Mom, this person who pulled out a star on his friend, saying, look, you owe me money. Here's my star. He says, Shtar Paru. Then it says this star was paid up. So we say to the labor, Lavko can be enough. You don't have the koich to say Parua. He has a star. Zil Shalom, go pay.
Who told him go?
The Bezdin told him, Papa told him. You can't say you paid here, he's showing your star. That the Malva should say, he should swear that he didn't pay. Let the Malva, the Nitva says, I say I paid. You're saying you have a star. So swear that I didn't pay. So then, then we say he should swear. Because there's a problem with studies. The Sofrim and the Yiritz Zadeiris, the Achreinim, right? They were Ganovim, the Edom Shakranim. They would make up studies like nothing. So that's why he's allowed to tell the Malva swear, even with a star. Ravashi. Ravashi said to Ravashi, Uma bein zeh poigem eshtare. He says, we know, you know where you're going to have to swear by a Pgima in the star. Pgima in the star is known by a ksuba. A woman comes to the man and says, her husband, give me the whole ksuba. So he says, I paid you. I paid you. So she says, yeah, you paid me some of it, but you still owe me a lot. So now it's a pagam in the star, so we can make her swear for the rest. But that's all because she was made of a mixas that he paid, so she destroyed the star. But here, so it sounds like only by pagam shtare. But our case where there was no pagam shtare, so why? How could he make the Malva swear? So what's the chilik? Why are you making a gamsa? Oh, by pagam shtare swear. A regular star, if the Malva tells the Leva, if the Leva tells the Malva he has to swear also. So what's the chilik? I'm gonna no, there's a difference. Husband by pagam star, even if the husband is not taining that she should swear, Tanina le'yanam, Bezdin will make her swear because there's a pagam in the star. But by a Malva and the Leva, and the Leva says, I paid up, the first thing Bezdin says, pay up. They're not going to say Malva swear. And if the Leva will come up and say, I want the Malva to swear, only then, he's going to say, I want him to swear. Oh, but Bezdin doesn't intrude. Bezdin, if he only comes with a taina, I paid up. Bezdin says, you didn't pay up, pay. Then he says, hey, I want the Malva to swear that I didn't pay up, then he'll have to swear. But by a ksuba which he was made, even if she doesn't say that, even if the husband doesn't say, I want her to swear, Bezdin makes her swear. Yeah. If it's a Talmud Chacham, loy mashbi'in alei. Says the Gemara that we don't make him swear. No, we don't make him swear. What is this? He gets away with murder. He can grab shirts off people's backs and move on. As a tzaddik in pelts, what's going on? So he says, meaning we don't deal with such a thing. If
we don't deal with tzaddikim.
With tzaddikim, right? That's what he's really saying. We don't deal with tzaddikim who come with a star and then make them swear they should look like chshudim, but they can't collect. We don't allow them to swear, but they lose. Yeah, but the malva won't. If the Talmud Chacham is a malva, and we want the malva to swear, we're not going to. Bezin won't let him swear, and he'll have to pay. He loses. The Talmud Chacham loses.
Because you don't want to make him
look bad. That's what it says. We learned in the Mishnah if he says Manu L'Biyatcha, and he says yes, but tomorrow, I owe you the money. He comes down and he says tomorrow, give me the money. He says I gave it to you. So he's potter. Then we said another case. He says, but I owe you the money. He says good. So when you pay me back only in front of Adam. So he said if he didn't pay in the Mishnah, and if he doesn't pay back in front of Adam, he says he paid back. He's chayiv. So we're going to have other shittas here. Rabasi says, somebody who lends his friend in front of Adam, he has to pay back in front of Adam because he shows he didn't trust him l'chatchila. He lent him dafka in front of Adam because he didn't trust him because he'll say he never got the money. So if he doesn't trust him when he lent the money, obviously when he pays back, he wants him to pay back with Adam. When they said in front of Shmuel, Shmuel said to me, he could say, he could say I paid back. And he has a migo, I could say I paid in front of Pliny, and they went to him in Sayam. How could he has to pay back with Adam. So he says he never made up. He didn't say befedish. He lent in front of Adam. It's our assumption that he wanted Adam, but he never said it. So maybe he has to pay back. Maybe in such a case he has to. That's what we're going to learn now. Now we learned in our Mishnah if he said to his friend, hey, and he says yes. And the next day he says, give it to me. He says, I gave it to you. He's potter. Here's a case of Adam. He came to Bezdin and he tells Bezdin, listen, in front of him, listen, he owes me, I have $100 of mine in your hands. What do you say? He says, yeah, I have it. So he agreed in front of Adam. So the Chaydish have to pay back with Adam, and we said no. Nayali, and he says Nesativ Lach, even though he didn't pay in front of Adam, we said he's potter. It was like he lent the money in front of Adam. We learned that he's potter. The Yufta Ravasi, Zakasha Ravasi. Ravasi says he has to pay back with Adam. Says Ravasi, that's totally different. I know Kiyami, when I said my halacha that you have to pay back in front of Adam, at the beginning of the initial halva, he showed him, I don't trust you, I'm only going to give you in front of Adam. So therefore it's verständlich. It's the loyal of the day, I don't. Even though he didn't say it, but he showed that he's lending only in front of Adam. He said, I'm not letting. Let me now the money. He says, no, I have to first bring Adam. It shows he doesn't trust him.
So then it's already you figure.
So
you don't have to have Adam for the end.
At the end, he should have to have Adam because he showed him, I don't trust you. So you're going to have to pay it back with Adam. But here, the Chatchila in this case is talking about the initial Hava was without Adam. So Hahemna, he trusts him. So therefore, even though later on by the Tviyah he did it in front of Adam, that means nothing. Because at the initial Hava, he showed that he trusts him. So he doesn't have to pay back in front of Adam. So it's Nishkan Haya if later on by the Tviyah it was in front of Adam. If in the initial Hava it wasn't in front of Adam, that means he trusts him. Rav Yosef takes a big extreme in the Machlekes. He says like this, somebody lends his friend in Bedim, he doesn't have to pay back in front of Adam. But that tzarich lepay Bedim, he has to pay in front of Adam. He said befedish. But when they said in front of Shmuel said, no big deal. Shmuel says, even when he said the Fedish, I want you to pay in front of Edom, he could say, I paid back in front of Edom, even though the Edom are not here. Says the Edom went to
He doesn't have to pay.
and he doesn't have to
And
pay.
he's allowed to say that.
Yeah, he gets away. Only Shmuel says that. There's a little, okay. Yeah, but I think that's the halacha, by the way. It's but because Shmuel holds a guy is not going to get away with it. It's going to come back. They'll get a hold of the Edom, and the Edom will come back and call him a liar. Eventually he'll get caught. Tanam, we learned from the Mishnah, in our Mishnah, somebody who says to his friend, "Manali biyatcha, I have $100 of mine in your hands." He says, yes. Don't give it back to me only the way you give it back in front of two Edom. The next day he tells him, no, give it to me. He says, Nisat, I gave it to you. So here you have the psak from a Mishnah. It's not Mishnah.
That
If you made up, you got to pay back in front of Edom. To you, to the Shmuel. Shmuel says you don't have to pay back in front of Edom.
It's a plenty.
Shmuel says you can say I pay you plenty. Were there, and they went to this thing. Zichner. Says Shmuel says your Mishnah. You're right. It's a Mishnah. But that's one Tana. But Bichlal, it's a machlekes between Tanaim. Tanai. Where do we see it's a machlekes of Tanaim? The Tanya we learned in the Braisa. That the Malva said to Levi, I lent you in front of Edom, and I want you to pay back with Edom. Either the Levi should pay back the Chayiv, or bring a proof that you paid back. He could say to him, he could say to him, so you see, it's a Tana. Shmuel says like this Tana, like Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira, that he, even if he told him specifically, I want you to pay back in front of Edom, he could tell him, and he says he paid back in front of Reuben and Shimon, and they went to him in the Sayam, he can get away with it.
Does it tell what you say before, that
Eventually he'll get caught, yes. Yeah. Rav Abba Mimai the B'Shas Halvok, he says, your raya from Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira, Shmuel brought a raya from Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira, that he can get away with saying that he paid back with plain. Says who says that was a case in the time of Avah? If it was B'Shas Halvah, maybe he would have, at the beginning of the Havah, he told him this. He showed right at the beginning he doesn't trust him. Maybe he would have to pay back in front of Edom according to Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira. And this that Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira said you could say you gave him in front of Reuben Shimon and he went to Mitzayam. It's talking about it wasn't at the beginning of the Halvah. It was later. He brought him to Bezdin. You owe me money, and he says now I want you to pay me in front of Edom. That's different. Now, because at the beginning he showed that he trusted. So this is what the Malva is saying. Didn't I lend you with Edom? If the Nishla Hava, that means he since he lent him with Edom, he has to pay back. But if the Malva said the Shas Hava, that means that he made a T'nai Befedish at the time of the Hava. I want you to pay back. When do we say he could say to Reuben and Shimon if he didn't say at the initial Hava to pay me? He's just timing. I lend you in front of Edom. You knew I don't trust you, so pay me back in front of Edom. So there you could today. He didn't say it, so he doesn't have to pay him back for Edom. But the Shas Hava, he says if he made a T'nai Befedish, I want you to pay me back in front of Edom. Then according to everybody, he's not going to. He's going to be chayiv unless he gives in front of the Edom. Papa Mishmei Rava. Papa Mishmei Rava said, "Hilchasa the halacha is shamal v'eschavir be'edom tzarul l'par be'edom." Somebody who lends his friend in front of Edom, he shows no trust right at the beginning. So when the later pays back, he has to pay back in front of Edom.
Even though he didn't speak it out.
Even though he didn't speak it out, that's the halacha. But Papa Mishmei Rava Amar, that's Rapapi. Papa Mishmei Rava Amar. Amalas, yes, two different people. Don't make a mistake. Yuda Aleph. Papa Mishmei Rava Amar. Amalas Chavir Be'edom and Sarol Lepar Be'edom. that somebody who lends money to spend Behedim, he does not have to pay back Behedim. That's a proper learning in the name of Rava. But if the Malva specified, said, I want you to pay me back specifically in front of Behedim, tell him to pay Behedim, he has to pay him back in front of Behedim. If the lady said, the lady says, I paid you in front of Reuben and Shimon, Naaman, he's believed. So you see, that's the halacha.
Even though he spoke out to him to say, I would
Yeah. Right. Simon Reuben Shimon, the Tano Hilsa Yasve Ufora, Pliny Afse Sitroi, Beimanusa, Beveitrei. These are all different dinim of stories that have a shaykhs to the sugya of Tainus Perua of the Loyava. Here, there was this person who said to his friend, keep writing when you pay back the chayiv, parenly be'api Reuben and Shimon. Pay me back. Listen to which people I'm telling you. Reuben and Shimon, Nish Levi v'Yehuda.
They should be there.
Reuben and Shimon should be the Eidim. Oh, he went ahead and he paid before Levi and Yehuda instead of Reuben and Shimon. So Abaye said, listen, you said part of your sentence was to pay it in front of two Eidim. So he paid in front of two Eidim. He said Reuben Shimon was the chilik. Reuben Shimon, nicht der Pifta, wie I'm joking. Reuben Shimon, sein Levi Yehuda. Zwei, Amalei Rava, no, lahachi kamalei. Ba'ape Reuben Shimon, he said Dafke the Reuben Shimon in the Levi Netchaya, so that the Levi shouldn't drink a cup and use his Eidim that will side with him. He wanted Dafke neutral guys, Reuben and Shimon. So otherwise, he'll find his Eidim. Even if he didn't pay you, did I pay in front of yeah, but as the Alon Shakman, it'll be his Eidim. That's why he wanted Reuben and Shimon. Another case. So it's a machlokes between Abaye and Rava. Abaye says he doesn't have to. Special names. Abaye says you don't have to give it in front of those names.
There's a reason why.
And Rava says there's a reason why, and he has to give it in front of those names. This person who said to his friend, when you pay me, pay me in front of two Talmidei Chachamim, was ein gelernt to mention. Also part of the label of day. He went ahead and he just gave back the money, and not in front of nobody. He gave him back the whole money. So now the Malva, when he took back the money, there was a Ghana, or something happened, a Ghana came into his house, stole the money. He was honest. They came before Rav Nachman Amalei. So the Malva said to Rav Nachman, in Kabuli Kibaltinu Minei, I did get back the whole money, but in my mind, I got it derech pikadei. I got it only as to watch it, not as a payback. And I said to myself, he wants I should be a shoyme chinam. A pikadei. He wants it to be a pikadei. Others misamin beis trei the tonel till he fulfills the tonight that he brings two Talmidei Chachamim, and then he'll pay me back in front of the Talmidei Chachamim. Umekayim tonight, and he'll be mekayim the tonight. Rav Nachman says, what's haks that shining? Given the kamedas, the vade shekaltinu minei, you were made that you got back the whole money. You got back your money. You're telling me the guy who gave you back the money, you think he gave it to you as a pekadon? In his mind, he thinks he paid you back. You decided in your mind after you lost the money, because you're waiting for.
His money anyways. His money is
right, but he says when he lost the money, he wants to blame it on the Teveya. He didn't do it in front of Tuedim. So only Hashem Echinam, because when he was supposed to give it back, he has to give it in front of Talmidei Chachamim. So he says, if your problem is you want to be Mekayim the Tanai, Zilasino, go bring the money he gave you. You lost to bring other money. You want to be Mekayim the Tanai. The Hana, but have Sheishes, the Tanina Hilchasa, the Sifra, the Sifri, the Tesefta, the Kula Agimara. He says, me and Rav Sheishes, Baruch Hashem, we went through whole Shas. We know all the halachas, the Sifras, the Sifris, the Teseftas, the whole Shas. You can come back, just bring back the money. So that's Tesis says over here. They were laughing. It was stam a joke. The Kamahadalei, they said that you want to be Mekayim tonight. He paid you back the loan, and in your head you decided after you lose the money, you became Hashem Echinam on the money. That's because you want to make back your money. There was this person who said to his friend, Havli me zuz ziftach. Give me the 100 zuz that I lent you. Amalei ladam loya devar me'elam. You never gave me anything. Also, I see he brought Eidim that he lent the money. He borrowed that the slave borrowed the money. But you know what the Eidim said? But he also paid back. So no, it was the Malvin. He lost. So I'm Abaya, my never. What should we do? You brought your own Eidim, and they say he paid back. Yeah, they say you're right that he lent the money, but they say he paid back. So my never. What should we do? You know, they them who says he lent the money. Your own Eidim is saying he paid back. No, it's not so simple. Since he said he never borrowed la adam, he said it's it's as if he said he didn't pay. So even if the Eidim say that he paid, but he does Baldin Kameya Eidim Dami, and that overrides the Eidim, and he's going to have to pay. So he does Baldin Chazaka Yoisem Hadas Eidim. So his he does Baldin made him now pay. Next time be smarter. There was this person who said to his friend, but give me the 100 zuz that I'm claiming from you. So the lady says, didn't I pay you back in front of Chaim Yankolich? Yeah. Also, they say, they bring those two Eidim. They said, what do you have? We never saw you. We don't know what you're talking about. So what Rav Sheshet from Rav Sheshet said, he's a Hulsik Kafrin. He's a Hulsik Shakran. And therefore, he cannot be believed with his taina. Even with a shvur, we can't. And he has to pay. You can't call him Mosik Shakan. He wasn't supposed to pay back with Eidim. He in his mind thought, I think I paid you back even in front of Eidim. He wasn't Samlev because that wasn't the Tanai. So the Gemara says you can't call him a Mosik Kafran. If that was one of the criterias, then he would remember it. But it wasn't. He didn't have to pay back in front of the Eidim. Another case, there was this person who said this fine. Give me the 600 zuz that I'm claiming from you. The lady says, didn't I pay you back 100 kabin and afze of galnuts that they used to work out the hides? The kind of a shita.
What did you have to work out?
The hides, the cloth.
Oh, for
They use galnuts to work it out. Special. So he says the kind of a shita. So each kav was a 6 zuz, and he gave him 100. So do you have 600 zuz? He says I paid you. Amalei la ba ba zuz have. What are you talking about? At that time, it was not worth 6 zuz a kav. It was 4 zuz. You still owe me 200. Also, two Eidim came, and it was like only 4. Have a kind of, that's what the price was. He's a Mulsik Kafrin here. So it says, you just finished off it over. You said before he wasn't a Mulsik Kafrin in the previous case. Because why over here is it different? He said, Abba says, when it comes to Schera business, and it comes to prices when prices up and down, you know exactly when it's up and down. That a person he remembers all that, and by him saying it was 6 and while it was 4, he's a Mosik Kafran.